Gotta have an audience. Hey, everybody. It's Walt with On Air with Walt and our producer, Jeremy Stewart, in an undisclosed location.
Yes, right here in the studio, sound booth.
He's got a studio. I just have a studio apartment. So,
Awesome.
so hey, I'm in Southern California. So we thought we'd have a little chat on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I don't know. So here we are. Thanks for joining us. And I'm Walt with On Air with Walt. I have been a podcaster since 2010. Jeremy tells me I'm one of the oldest podcasters, but don't tell anybody. My first show was called Money and Music, and it was in 2011 and 12. It was a true podcast. We actually broadcast, this is interesting, from Fred Warner's original office from 1923 in the original Warner Brothers building on the original Warner Brothers studio on Sunset Boulevard. It's a historical landmark. For those of you in Rio Lindo, it's historical. And what's funny about that is we were in Fred's office, and there was Fred and Jack Warner of Warner Brothers, and the office is probably about 20 feet square. It's a big office, and maybe 15, probably 15 feet square. But Jack and Fred Warner of Warner Brothers did not get along. One end of the building was Jack's office, and the other end of the building was Fred's office. So the two of them had all these little tiny offices in between. It was this two-story building. And you can see it. We drive by Sunset Boulevard. And again, it's the original Warner Brothers studio. Also, where Al Jolson sang the jazz singer, which was the original first talkie. And I think it was 1928. And it was on that studio a lot that it happened. So
wow.
It was fun. Wow. We did 80 shows. We had 9 Grammy Award winners. And we went viral or worldwide in 9 months. Had about 100,000 listeners a month, literally all over the world, including China and Australia, all over Europe. It was crazy. And nobody knew what to do with us. We were big, and nobody knew what a podcast was back in 2011 and 12. So we couldn't get sponsors. What's a podcast? Why would people want to listen to that? Why would? Gee, I wonder. So anyway, it was a fun experience.
So for all the viewers at home right now, here's the cool thing about this. This episode is about going into our background, our history. And that's cool that Walt just mentioned that, actually, because I was interested in knowing that for all you viewers out there. So for me, to you as a host, Walt, what piqued your interest in even doing podcasts? What got you in actually the mentality to do
that? If you had even told me, when I was in college, for crying out loud, I'd be doing this, I would have thought you were a Martian from another universe. Just no flipping way. It wasn't like I woke up one morning and went, I want to do this. I was actually, my parents live, I live in Orange County and my parents live in LA. It's about a 45-minute drive. And when my father was alive, I go have dinner with my parents every Sunday night. Just, hey, it's free food. So my mom's a real good cook. So I was whizzing through AM radio, listening to whatever I could find. And I found this show called Straight Talk Wealth. And it was done by a guy named Bruce Whitey. And it was just Bruce babbling on about retirement stuff. And I heard like the last 15 minutes of the show, and I liked it. He said, we'll call in and, we want to chat. So I called the number, left a message, and he called me back. And I told him, I loved your show. I really resonate with me. And he goes, well, let's do lunch. And he'd never done that before. So he was using a third party to do the sales part, and he was just doing the radio part. And I said, well, how's it going for you? And he goes, it's not. I go, well, then why in the world are you continue to do it? Fire him, make me your sales manager, and, I'll be your co-host on the show because you've had co-hosts before, and we'll kill it.
Right.
Well, we wrote $8 million of annuities in a year, which was, $8 million more than he'd written like 2 years prior. So I would get about, people call during the show and leave a message. We wouldn't put them on air. They had an answering service for that. And I talked to about 15 or 20 people a week. And you can imagine if it's an hour plus hour and a half per person on the phone, that's a full-time job, just that. And we bring them into the office, and that was that. And you're getting the unabridged story here, folks. bless Bruce's heart. He's a great guy, but he didn't know when to quit. So I learned how to creatively interject his whatever he was saying on the show. We sat in Dennis Prager's studio in Glendale, where he broadcasts the syndicated show from 9 till noon every day. It was against Rush Limbaugh, and he was second behind Rush Limbaugh on AM radio Monday through Friday. And the Dennis Prager show, I think, is still going, but it was fun. And till the phone stopped ringing, we blew through the whole audience. And so, bing, that was that. And then I met a lady that pooped out about April, May of 12. And I met a lady in June of 2012. Her name was Victoria, and she wanted to do a podcast about money and music. I said, okay, let's do it. We started it in a really, 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 really tiny studio. Probably 8 people saw it at 3 a.m. on their website. And she goes, again, this is a funny story. And she goes, well, I'm going to find a better studio. I understand they're broadcasting on the Warner Brothers studio. And I go, oh, okay. And so she's 5'11", platinum blonde, drives a little blue CRK Mercedes. She literally stormed the studio. It's one of the studios that got the 2 gates and a guard with a clipboard. She didn't care. She stormed it. Probably couldn't do it. She said she probably wouldn't be able to do it again. Got in, parked, found the studio at the Warner Brothers place, and they looked at her. How in the hell did you get in here? Wouldn't you like to know? So long story short, we met with the owner, Tony Sweet. He still has, it's called UBN, Universal Broadcasting Network. And he's broadcasting to Burbank, which I've done exclusively until now, virtual. And about 2 months later, we started, and we're in Fred Moore's office. So it was a great show. And we had one of the fun shows we had was Philip Springer, about a month before Christmas, who was the original and final Tin Pan Alley composer. And he was in studio with his daughter and 2 grandkids, and he was in his mid-80s. And he had written a song in the 50s called Santa Baby.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And they had just renewed the residuals on it. And he said his grandkids could go to any college they wanted to in the country and it would be no problem. I mean, it was one of the top 10 Christmas songs ever written. And he tells a story. It's the middle of July, hotter than the blazes in New York City. And he's talking to Eartha Kitt, who was saying the song, and he co-wrote it. I don't know how I'm going to write a song in the middle of July, man. Why don't we do it later? Earth's going, dude, we got to write the song. We got to press the records. We got to promote it, blah, blah, blah. It's got to be ready way before Christmas. Oh, okay. So they wrote it, and he was a collaborator his whole life. And obviously it was a fun interview. So that was probably the 5th or 6th show we did. Let's see, August, September, October. No, maybe the 9th. But anyway, yeah, and they're all the shows are actually on our website, www.onairwithwalt.com. You go to little hamburger on the top right corner. You go to past shows, and all those shows with all the with Philip Springer and all the jazz performers are there. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I picked on Wall Street a lot. That was the money part.
Awesome.
I remember one story. Apple had just come out with Apple Maps, and it was an absolute complete boondoggle disaster. People were getting downtown San Francisco on Apple Maps. It was crazy. And they blocked Google Maps on there. And Apple finally figured out, forget it, we're just going to use Google Maps. The first day that they released Google Maps to be available download on Apple, on the iPhones, literally 10 million? 10 million people downloaded the app.